Well, welcome everybody to On the Record, to a really special episode today, where I get to interview literally one of my soulmates. So you all are very lucky to start out with. And it's a great conversation that we're going to have today. So just so you know, if you're very new here to On the Record, this is a podcast where we talk about music in a very special way and how it really impacts and drives pieces of our lives. And what we love to do is break down whether it's an artist or a song or a specific album that we connect to personally. And we get to walk through the pieces and bits of our lives that might have been challenging that music helped kind of walk us through. I'm a huge believer in sometimes everybody doesn't have full access to actual therapy, but I do believe that everybody has access to music. So this is where music and mental health meet. So welcome to On the Record. So today I'm going to go ahead and introduce one of my best friends, Miss Robyn Tofukuji-Tsik. And we're coming here just to have a really awesome chat about a song, but also an album and just energy as a whole. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, my love.
I'm so happy to have you here. So usually the first question that I ask everyone is, when did your love affair with music start?
Ooh, way back, like most of us. I was very, very lucky and blessed that I had a wide, eclectic range of musically passionate people in my family.
Yeah.
Even starting from grandparents on both sides. Yeah. And it was a wide range because Grandma Dorothy, she was born and raised on a farm in Colorado, so she loved the country music. Not that I carry that love for me to today. Sorry, that's not anyone wants. It's just not my taste, but that's what she loved. I listened to some of that. And other side, Grandpa Frank grew up and was raised in Hawaii, right? And I'm Japanese, fourth generation, so there was a lot of folk, traditional Japanese music in the background growing up when I was at their house, spending the night, spending time with them. So his voice singing along to those songs, like, it's very powerful for me.
Yeah.
And you'd be on his ukulele at the same time or separately. So it's that strum, it's his voice bellowing through the living room. Those Hawaiian songs or Japanese songs, that really resonates for me. And other grandpa love Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, like that era. Yeah. So Nat King Cole's one of my favorites. And then moving on to the next generation, my parents, like you said in a previous episode, I heard, like, you're just stuck in the back seat.
Yeah.
And you are at mercy to whatever they hear, but you learn to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right? So my mom was into Journey, Chicago, Fleetwood Mac. My dad loved Motown. He grew up on a lot of Motown. So I loved, like, the Miracles, Four Tops, Shirelles, Frankie Valli, really.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Four Seasons. So it's eclectic, and all those genres really feel so good.
Yeah.
Feel so safe, right? When you listen to certain songs or artists, or just the energy of it, you feel so good. So a long time, it's been embedded in me. But my own favorites started, I remember Scotty, my older brother, he's 6 years older, so I was exposed to, like, rap, like Tupac and Biggie and Boyz II Men. That's when I started to love Boyz II Men, R&B, and I was, like, in kindergarten. So it was a little bit
a little premature.
Yeah.
But we all were
appropriate.
Yeah. But we had no idea what we were saying.
It matured us.
It did, quickly.
Yes. We became more wise.
We did.
Earlier age.
Yes.
We little lassies.
Claim it. We were so much more wise as a result. Yeah.
So with Boyz II Men, I remember End of the Road.
Yeah.
And hearing that blasting from Scotty's radio, her stereo, those big stereos.
Yes.
In the early morning, he didn't care that we were still sleeping. He just listened to music. And I would sing it at recess. I remember singing End of the Road.
I love that.
Like walking around a tree stump. I vividly remember. I think I was 6 or 7 because I remember the playground. And I'd be eating my snack and I'd sing End of the Road, and kids would come up to me and they'd be like, "What are you singing?" End of the road. And I'm like, you feel the song.
Yes.
They're going through something terrible and I don't quite know what it is, but they're sad. And
I love that so much. You're like, what do you mean?
Okay. Fade.
Yeah.
I jump rope.
Yes.
That's starting.
What a good core memory. Like, remembering that, like, getting ready in the morning, you're like, wow. And then you're walking around a tree, like, eating a snack, just singing it. Like, it's like embedded. Like in your subconscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the love continues for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We share that love.
We definitely share that. I feel like Boyz II Men is a love language.
It is.
I love that you brought up it's just a feeling. Right? Because we all got to listen to these things so young, and whether it's our parents or our older siblings or whomever around us playing these songs, we didn't get context to the meaning of them.
Right.
But we knew it felt something. There was a feeling coming from it.
Yes.
Because they were playing it. Right? So you're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Because it fills space.
Yes.
And it just feels right.
Yes.
Yeah. Whether it's, an aggressive hip hop lyric or a ballad from someone, you're like, oh, it's emoting some sort of feeling, and it's like getting seeped into you.
And it really impacts your day. Right?
It does.
It could set the mood, or it could help you express what you're feeling too, right? What you're saying. All those moments.
Yeah, it really is. Because you know me, I have a million different mixes and playlists.
Yes.
But I intentionally have morning playlists.
Yes.
Like, there's multiple different ones.
You inspired me.
Yeah, morning playlists, because you get to decide how your day starts. Yes. Right? Regardless of how rough the night might have been or what you were thinking about yesterday, you get to intentionally start every day completely different if you choose to.
Yes.
So sometimes it's just that reset that I need. If the week is going terrible, I'm like, okay. Like, at some point, I need to take control of it. Because sometimes we just let things happen to us.
Yes.
Right? And we don't kind of put up a wall and be like, hey, I'm not going to receive that kind of energy. I'm going to shift it. Yeah, I'm going to shift it because I need to get out of here for my mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're so good at that. Your playlists have got us through college. Right? And you send me amazing playlists still.
Yeah.
And it resonates. It always, and the flow of it too. The timing.
Yeah.
What should come next.
I meticulously put these together. And it's just because I'm like, oh, what would I want to hear next? And it's such a great piece. And even getting back to what you were saying, I love that all of your grandparents had different genres that they loved. And your parents. And you're like, oh, I'm just kind of hearing everything.
Yes.
Right? Like, what a great introduction into music. Because I know you do the same thing now with your kids.
Yes.
And I love it. Every time I get a video of Dylan playing the piano, he's like, guess what song it is? Or Emmy's singing an interpretive dance. I'm like, I'm literally living for these videos. Like, living for them. And they're my favorite thing to pull up if I'm having a bad day.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yay. Dylan is really into Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo, yeah. I love it. Because it just gives you a feeling, especially MJ. Like, there's a energy that comes from his music that you can't even try to avoid.
It's the timing. It's so creative.
Yeah.
His layering. Like, that's what I love so much about certain songs. It's, how did they come up with that? It's like tiniest little details.
I'm telling you.
That just add that extra little texture. That
the simplest
takes
thing.
you someplace else.
Was that a triangle?
Yes, I know. And
so
even
good.
like the little inflection in his voice.
Yes.
It's a choice.
It is.
the choices
artistic
that they make,
choices.
and I admire that so much.
Me too. Because on the record, if you all don't know, we appreciate every part of the musical process because it's such a process. It's more than even just the person who's singing.
Yeah.
Right? It's the producers.
Yes.
It's the sometimes there's, especially in earlier years, like they would have full orchestras.
Yes.
Right? Like there's so many people a part of this process to create that one song you're listening to. And it's a beautiful marriage that happens that you get that final product. So the appreciation of the songwriters, right? Because there's so many people putting feeling into the lyric that marries with the music, right? And the artist's voice. All of it comes together in this really beautiful thing. So we shout out to everybody in that studio who's helping create that.
100%.
I love that. And I know as we were talking, because in that guest intake form that I send to all of my guests, we talk about like, okay, like how impactful is it, anywhere from I can't breathe without it to every now and then you're like, it's part of my daily life, like every day. And what does that look like for you in a normal day?
For me, I feel a little guilty because I love music.
Yeah.
Sometimes because I'm a mom.
Yeah. Quiet. Yes. We say the truth here.
Yes,
okay?
Thank you.
Quiet is the most beautiful thing when you need it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get overstimulated very easily. Like many of us do.
Yeah.
Especially auditorily.
Yes.
And the quiet is great. Music does seep in throughout because it's so important for my kids' education too, right?
I love that. Yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah.
Because I want them to be able to go to it. Like Dylan plays the piano.
Yeah.
That's a critical resource for him. It's a tool for if he needs to go off and cope with something or just wants to flow.
Yeah. Right?
And I want him to carry that with him forever.
Yes.
So music is going on throughout our days.
Yes.
Into our nights. For me, in the car, I will blast music if I want to dance. Yeah. Bruno, Lizzo, right? But on the way here, for example, it was silent.
I love it. You don't have to even explain that to me. So I also travel a lot for work.
Yes.
And I'm in airports, I'm around tons of people all the time. And I have my headphones on, but sometimes nothing's playing. I just don't want to be bothered. You understand? Like, I just don't want you to come up and talk to me. I just need a little silent. The silence is the perfect filler sometimes when you want to reset your brain.
Yeah.
Like, purge what's there.
Yes.
And just listen to silence. But there's also nature's music. Like, when you're outside walking.
I think I need to do that more.
Yeah.
Because I think we've talked about this before together, but I always have music in my head too.
Yes.
So on top of the overstimulation, there's always a soundtrack and it's loud and clear.
Yes.
So I have to intentionally, while I'm walking, going for a walk in the morning, like, listen for the birds.
Yeah.
Listen for them. Focus.
Exactly. And we've talked about that. I don't know if listeners, and please put this in the comments if you do also experience this. So we spoke about it because both of us, I always have something playing in my head. There's constantly a song playing. And it got to a point where, because I managed a lot of different teams over the past 15 years of my career, where my team will come up to me like, what song's playing right now? And I'm like spitting on songs because it's just like a jukebox in my head that's constantly going. And unfortunately, you can't actually turn it off. Most times you can't. And which, I mean, being a music lover, I'm like, hey, I'm singing my own personal soundtrack, like that's constantly going, right? But it's very much a thing. Like I'll be laying in bed and it's pitch quiet and I have a full song blasting in my head. Yeah. I don't know.
It's great.
Maybe we should research it. It's a thing.
I think so. Well, I am talking about it with a therapist. So
let me know what happens there.
Yeah.
Because I need to know.
Keep you updated.
Yeah. Exactly. I love that. And it's funny because we were going through, and I always, as listeners know, Any guests I have on, I always go and listen to the albums and the songs that they bring, that they want to talk about, just because I want to get in the right frame of mind and like feel what you all feel. And you had written out some wonderful lyrics on the song that you chose. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about that and who that is.
Oh, okay. So the song that, or the lyrics of the song, is called Honestly by Ekolu. It's a Hawaiian band. And I chose this song because of the lyrics specifically. Yeah. And do you want me to say the lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay. Why not? Let me try to remember. When you're feeling lonely, I'll be by your side to tell you that I love you so and I'll never let you go. Tell me your heart belongs to me and I love you honestly. So it's a song of reassurance between lovers. Yeah. But I find that lyrics, and this is maybe taking a turn, turn on the topic, but it resonates with me because I feel that it could be a song about a loved one, any loved one, like mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, to you. And this song resonates with me because it was a moment, a memory where I think the kids' playlist was going on in the kitchen. And then they went off to play. I was sitting alone on the island. And somehow the playlist switched. It glitched. I don't know. And I don't even remember how this song honestly popped up. And it wasn't even in the beginning of the song. It was in the middle, around this lyrical time, right? The timing of it. And I just knew it was my mom. And my mom passed, and we share this that our some of our folks have passed. And I really believe that music, lyrics, a memory can link us to loved ones, our angels who have passed. And it's a way for them to communicate. My mom and I shared a deep love of music. She passed in 2020, and she introduced to me so many beautiful songs throughout our life together. And I just knew she was reassuring me. We both love that song. And she does that from time to time. She pops up randomly on the radio, and I force my kids to listen to the radio.
I love that. Yes, please.
Delayed gratification. They need commercials.
Yes.
They need to know what that world is like.
They do.
So they like complain. Yeah. Listen. So, but it also allows them to hear different songs and songs for us too that we haven't heard for a long time. But it happens with communicating. I believe. Not everyone believes, but you just kind of know in your gut when they're trying to tap on your shoulder, be present with you. And life gets so busy and loud, right? That it takes time to slow down and listen for it or look for it, right? It's also like visual things that might show up, like a butterfly or whatever resonates for you. But I really feel that it's a connection to her or a loved one that is coming through in the moment.
We need those things. And thank you so much for sharing that. It's a beautiful place when you get to have that one quiet moment because of the chaos of the world that comes at us. But it's also being able to be assured that they're not actually
exactly.
And that's such a big piece. And I spoke about this in an earlier episode when you all get to listen to my episode where Renita interviews me and talking about this podcast. My love for music started with my dad. And it's like the biggest blessing in the world to me that I got something so strong from him. That's a huge part of my life. And the reason this podcast exists is because of him, right? So for me, it's a huge thing. And even in this podcast studio, like his hats are up here, his pictures are up here. Because he's so present. And sometimes when you doubt, you're like, oh God, I really wish I could talk to him right now. Or I really wish I could get his thoughts, because doing something like this is terrifying for someone like me who's had such a path my entire life. When you're like, I just want to do something creative and be able to let the world know this side of me. And you're like, ooh, should I? Like, oh, am I going down the right path? Can you assure me something's right? And I've heard him so very clearly, like laying in bed at night, be like, nope, keep going. It's exactly what you're supposed to be doing, right? And so that little song, when it came on somehow in the middle, that was absolutely her. She's like, hey, I'm still here. Yes. You need me? Yeah. I'm here. Right? Like, that's almost sometimes more powerful. Yes. And even when they were physically present here.
Exactly. They're closer to you than ever.
And protecting you almost even more. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. It's such a hard process to go through because we've talked about grief backwards and forwards, and it's such a roller coaster. Yeah. That you have no control over. But if you do have a level of spirituality, and we love them all here, whatever you believe in, it's a beautiful thing to it's because it's for connection. Yes. All this is a level of connection. And sometimes it's those little bitty pieces that'll just keep you going. Exactly. Like it'll shift your day. It'll help you think of something a little bit differently. You'll appreciate them more, right? Yes. All those little things and signs. Sometimes you have to have the quiet spaces to be able to hear them. Yes. We do. You have to intentionally somehow make space for that. Yeah, it is fantastic. And I think it even carries into the album that you chose. For me, it does. And we have Wicked sitting up here. This is one of it, in my opinion, one of the best musicals ever. And the first time I actually saw it on Broadway was with you. Many moons ago. We will not say how old we are. No shame. There's no shame. Like I love my gray hairs, and I love that I'm an auntie now. Like there's, I fully claim it, and I sit in it gladly. And you talk about this specific soundtrack because not everybody's a musicals person, which I don't understand, but we won't talk about that here. Is sometimes it's hard to get a full, beautiful album, no skips, beginning to end. And you said this one is yours. Yes. What is it about this specific soundtrack? Because it's such a wonderful story. But what is about this soundtrack that just kind of resonates with you? I have to think about that. I love that it's a story. Yeah. It takes you through the entire arc of the journey of their friendship. Yeah. And beyond the friendship, which is the core. Yeah. I love that it's layered with self-doubt. Who to listen to, questioning conformity. Yeah. Who's good? What does good mean? Right. Right. Where is evilness? What is evilness? And how to stay true to yourself, even though everyone around you is not believing you. They don't see what you see. Right. You'll feel like a lone wolf, and who to trust. Right. Yeah. In the arc of society. Yeah. Why are we listening to their words when we could trust our own instincts a lot of the time too? And it takes a lot of faith and courage to do that. The music, each song is so unique. Yeah. And expresses each character's point of view. It really does. I love their friendship. Friendship. It's funny, right? Yeah. So there's that comic element. Yeah. But there's this depth, and I love musical theater on stage, right? Because there's that one shot they get. Yeah. Right, and it's intimate, and the level of talent that brings is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I'm in awe. Right? Yeah. They leave us breathless. Yeah. With the performances. And the instrumental, right? The orchestra. Yeah. Like you're saying before. It all comes together. The countless days of rehearsal. Yes. On stage and on screen. It's I appreciate it so much. And it's just like this beautiful package. Wicked to me. Yeah. This yummy, heartfelt, funny, but deep Yeah, it's a very deep story.
Deeply layered, complex story.
Yeah.
And it inspires me.
Yeah.
Alphaba really inspires me.
It's so true. And I love that you connected all of those little pieces inside the story that are so big, because it really does have this full arc of really trying to stand on your own and stand exactly for what you believe and don't waver, because that's so hard.
Yes.
It's probably one of the most challenging things in our societies, period, is being able to be true to yourself. And in talking on that specific theme, what tools do you find for yourself? And this is for our audience and anyone listening who's like, I don't know how to find my voice in all of the noise.
Yeah.
What helps bring it back for you when you're like, no? Because I mean, we've taken years to get to this place, right? And we're still working through it, right? But what are those little bits and tools that you use to help?
Ooh, talking to safe people like you, and feeling validated in that. There's nothing like connecting with a safe person.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're okay and that you share a lot of the angst of life together and the joy of life, but going through all the ups and downs, journaling and therapy.
Say that again for the people in the back. Therapy definitely can help. Right. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. No, it's a huge piece to our lives. It's funny because as we talk about friendship, because we've now been friends for over 20 years, which seems wild to me. Like, I still feel like I'm a teenager who met you on a campus somewhere, which is crazy. But
in our nightgowns.
We won't give more detail of that. It's wild because it's hard to actually find real core friends. And sometimes, and I think it's a great topic for us to talk about, sometimes some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. And some people are meant to be there for the entire long haul. And it's really hard to figure that out over time. It's a painful process. I usually say, maybe it's just my perspective, that breakups with friendships are almost harder. Because it's someone that you voluntarily brought into your life as a chosen family member. And you wholeheartedly believe that you're going to stick it out with the specific person because they just know you so well. And sometimes you have to let people go. So it's almost brutal. Because like even, relationships and things happen. Because they come and go quite oftentimes. But the friends are the ones that are usually there the entire time, right? So to me, sometimes friendships are more painful.
I could definitely see that.
Than all of that, right? Because you're like, but you were the go-to. Who do I go to? Right? And people are going through that now. I was speaking to a friend yesterday, and she's like, I've gone through some major things the past year, and I've had to realize that most of my old friendships end.
That's hard.
Right. It's such a hard thing to do. My tip for anyone, and I hope you have a tip too, for anyone who's really looking for or how to identify who your real people are. It's not just, who's there with you during the hard times and the nice times, but who actually sits to listen. Listening and hearing are two different things. 100%. And when you're able to call somebody and be like, hey, I just need a minute to let something off my chest or to run something by you. The people who make the time. Yeah. Sometimes it's okay if they can't make the time, but I'm like, hey, maybe in the morning, you have time in the morning, right? Yeah. But because adults, but it's the people who can sit there and listen and you be okay. Be like, can you give me advice? Or if you just need to listen and I don't want any advice at all, right? And they just see you for your authentic self and let you be in that. Yes. But also, and here's the kicker, you also have to be able to take the feedback because they're the people that love you. You have to be able to hear things you don't want to hear. Mm-hmm. That to me is the spice on it.
Yeah.
And those are those friends because sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
For you to grow. You need the kick to grow.
Yeah.
And not get defensive. Sometimes we might. Depends on your personality.
Yeah.
But you know the intentions are right. Mm-hmm. Right? And sometimes you gotta navigate that. You don't know until you're in the moment.
It's true.
Sometimes you don't know until something horrible happens, if they're gonna show up or not. Yeah. And it might be painful. But make sure your instincts are never wrong.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to, but it's also hard to figure out when you have those instincts where that voice comes from sometimes. So it's that's a challenge. Yes. To discern, right? But you know in your gut usually, and it's really channeling and figuring out like, this is mine. It doesn't
feel right.
Yeah. Or this is my voice.
Right.
These are my feelings, right?
Yeah.
And you're right that friendships inevitably get sticky sometimes, but it's the ones that stick through it.
Right.
Right? And are able to navigate, communicate, listen.
Yep.
In a mature way as much as we can.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. But sometimes it's not a bad thing if you have to lose a few friends. It's true. Sometimes it's just not. Yeah. Right? Sometimes you grow in different ways and you just don't match anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? Like sometimes like that season is done. Yeah. Right? And you've evolved to a different person.
Yeah. And you could come back to each other.
You can come back to it later if that's what fits later, right? You have to go with your instincts. And I love how you brought that up. Because sometimes our heads try to fight us. And that's, let me not say sometimes. Most times, your head tries to fight you. Mm-hmm. Your body will always tell you the right answer. Right? Because we're animals, just like dogs, cats, right? Zebras, you name it. Everybody has an animal instinct. And if your instinct is like, something's off, I don't like the energy, there's a gut feeling, right. It's always correct. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to quiet your brain and just go with it. It's never failed me. My instinct has never failed me. Every single time that I've ignored my instincts, I have failed something.
Yeah. You feel it in your body.
Your body feels it.
It's rejecting.
Yeah, it's quite literally rejecting what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? So I challenge anyone at this point to really start tapping into how you feel about something. Mm-hmm. And how you want to start recognizing that or giving the space to do it.
I think it's wise to, there's a curiosity around an example of what it might feel like if you're rejecting something or something is vibing with you and resonating with you. If I'm rejecting something in my body for some reason, it feels like almost it's going into like fight or flight.
Yeah.
Like my heart is beating faster. Mm-hmm. Something is not quite right. What is it? Is it just me? Or something is legitimately not feeling good.
Right.
I get a little tense, jittery, and then later on I'm like ruminating about that situation a little bit more, and it's still not feeling good.
Yeah.
Right? You want to feel at ease usually around your people, right?
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned like fight or flight. Like that's genuinely what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because something's like, I don't know if I should be here. Mm-hmm. Right?
Or freeze.
Or freeze. Because I'm also a freeze person. I've noticed that I'm very much a freeze person too. Because I just need to cognitively understand what's happening before I make decisions. So sometimes that's not worked in my favor. And I probably should have just ran. But oops, you can learn. Yeah. But yeah, it's that gut visceral reaction. Like sometimes you just need to listen to it and leave the rest for later. Mm-hmm. Like leave the rest for later. Even instinctually, and I'll give an example about this in creating this podcast. Yeah. Everything in my brain said no. Mm. Mm-hmm. Because you've never done anything like this. This is not something that you have a whole lot of knowledge on. This is not something that you normally do. Mm-hmm. So why does it make sense for you to do that? Right? But everything in my instinct said, do it anyway.
What did it feel like in your... Your body.
In my body.
Yeah. Or in your soul.
It's funny. Doing the actual thing, like even sitting here talking right now.
Yeah.
Feels so natural.
Yeah.
Right? But the thought of it, when I was thinking about it, gave me panic. Right? Because my brain was the one panicked. That's where the anxiety came in. That's where all of that noise came in. But in physically doing it, it brings me so much joy. Like,
it's beautiful.
Like, so much calm comes in these conversations for me. I'm like, oh, it just feels right. So sometimes you have to be in there with the battle.
Right. The discomfort is there for to help you grow.
Right, it is. And a lot of people are afraid to grow and make decisions, especially at our age. Like we're almost 40, and I love that. But I'm like, that's okay. I can do something brand new. Yes. Right? When I'm almost 40, like I'm just getting started.
Good for you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
It's a crazy thing to like think through, but when there's a little whisper, sometimes it's time to listen to the whisper. Because I got this idea like a year and a half ago in a whisper in a conversation that I decided to have with God, right? Yeah. And it was like, that's a cute idea. You know what I mean? Like,
what you want?
We'll see, right? But then it's like, maybe that's not a terrible idea. Because it keeps coming back. Yeah. Like it hasn't gone away. Yeah. Right? And I encourage anybody to do those things that maybe mentally sound scary. But if your body's like, I like it. Right? Yeah. I've been itching to do something a little different. Yeah. I encourage you to do it. Why not?
Yeah. And also, I've been asking myself, like I said before, who is that voice in your head? It's the naysayer. Yeah. And reason with it a little bit. Why are you, with curiosity, why are you saying no?
Right.
Let's work through this a little bit.
Exactly. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Why are we saying no? Right?
Yeah.
Is it because I don't believe I should be able to do things like that? Am I not believing in myself in this process and the ability to learn?
Right.
Right? Is that the 8-year-old girl that got made fun of that's trying to like resurge and you're trying to like elbow her back like, hey, like, you don't belong here no more, right? Yeah. Like sometimes you gotta fight those battles with yourself on validating whether or not it's something that's truly intrinsic to yourself or it's artificial. It's artificial, sure. Fine, let it go. Right?
These stories are made up in our head.
Right. It's fictional. Yes. Like we create this narrative. And that's based off a whole lot of external factors that happen. It has nothing to do with what's going on inside. Because your inside's telling you something different. But our heads, they love to trick us. Yes. So what's one thing that you would encourage our listeners to do as they're starting potentially their journey with music and battling their own battles? What's one tip that you find helps for you?
That's one tip. So the first word that came to me was trust. So trust whatever song you want to feel in that moment because it could be a message from your higher self or that 8-year-old child that wants to come through, and trust what you want to listen to, even if it's obscure or not what you're typically it's on your playlist. Go with it. Yeah. Go with it and follow it. Be open to it.
Yeah. Be open to those little things that look a little different, may feel a little different, and be off the path. I love that tip. Because sometimes we don't just go with our instinct, and that's what a lot of our conversation's been about today, naturally, is that instinct. Because granted, all your friends might, love Taylor Swift. Great. And you want to be a Swiftie too? Love that. But if you're over here in the back listening to Snow Allegra. That's fine. Right? Lean into it. Yeah. You know, lean into it. Be different if you want to be different. Yeah. Because it's supposed to tap into your soul. Music is very much a soul tapping experience if you allow it, right? So when you gravitate and your body gravitates towards it, let it go.
Yes, that it brings up a memory when we talk about it being part of our soul, because I wonder about now as we're talking about us as a child and then as we age, what that will look like for us musically, because we have so many songs that are tied to memories. And I thought about one of my grandpa's, Grandpa Frank, who was born and raised in Hawaii, like I said, and end of his life, I played his music. I searched through his house, and it was records. Yeah. I found the vinyl records, and at the time, 10 years ago, it was like iTunes or something. Yeah. And I found it. Yeah. And I didn't understand the lyrics, right? But I played it for him, and he just channeled. He just knew word for word. Yeah. When he didn't have much language anymore. Yeah. Right? And he was mostly sleeping, and he just came alive again. It's so powerful. Yeah. It jogs a memory, this core memory inside of you. Yeah. And he was taken back. Mm-hmm. And he felt, I'm sure, like himself again. So it's like through the whole timeline. Yeah. Of us, right?
It's so true.
It's so important. Music is so powerful.
It really is. Like, there's so many stories, articles, research about how music actually impacts us and the human body and the mind. And, you know, it's such a fun yet important piece to your own story, because I believe everybody's life has a soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody's life has a soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And I still get so excited to hear Salt and Pepper's Push It. Yes. And I'm like, oh, like it's a core memory that just comes in, right? Like, you never know. And it just, like, it wakes you up, and I love that for him, because he's like, oh, I know exactly where I was.
And his memory had been gone.
Right.
Dementia, stroke, right?
Yeah.
Usual for that age. Yeah. End of life, and it jogs you back.
It does.
It jolts you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Music is such a wonderful thing. Yes. It's so powerful.
It's safety too.
It is.
It makes you feel good and like yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And don't ever be afraid to tap into that. And I encourage all of our listeners, viewers on YouTube, drop the albums and stuff and the songs that really resonate with you instinctually. I'd love to hear them, so we can talk about those as well, because we definitely want you a part of the process. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's such an amazing experience to get here and talk to the people that I love most in the world about one of my favorite topics. And I feel like I learned so much about all of you too in this, which is really great. So thank you all so much for listening, and we'll talk to you all soon. Stay tuned.